I chose my path, you chose the way of the hero. And they found you amusing for a while, the people of this city. But the one thing they love more than a hero is to see a hero fail, fall, die trying.
So with the title of today's video, you're probably going to be thinking that I'm going to be talking about Arena Breakout or Gray Zone and how it's going to kill Tarkov, and it's the Tarkov killer, and it's going to destroy the player base, and everybody's going to move over, and da-da-da. And while I might touch on them a little bit, that's not going to be the case with today's video. Today, I'm going to be talking about why Escape from Tarkov is going to kill Escape from Tarkov. And especially with the recent patch that they just released with the Unheard Edition, there is so many things wrong with this edition that I don't want to be surprised. I don't want to say that I knew that this was coming or anything like that. I would have been all for it. If they charged 10-15 bucks for the kukri, they added some new clothes, maybe additional gloves, boots, anything cosmetic wise, even the new main menu background that they just added, if they add that as a paid like $5 thing, I'm sure people would have bought it. But instead, what they did is, what you'll see on screen here is they added the Unheard Edition, which you've probably heard about it by now, but they basically made it so that you have to pay $250 if you are new to the game and wanting this edition for the max stash size, access to PvE co-op, which is different from the EOD co-op. So this will be something that you can actually progress in, and you can do quests and everything and play with your friends, whereas the one that we currently have, you can't progress or anything like that. And they also added expanded PMC pockets. You get an in-game ID, you get the kukri, you get a radio, which is probably one of the most controversial things other than the PvE co-op. And you get a couple other things with fence standing, levels and stuff like that for your skills that will start at a higher level during the beginning of each wipe, which each thing has its own issues. But there's two things that I wanted to talk about that are probably the worst issues in the game so far with this Unheard Edition. So starting with the PvE co-op. Now, this is probably the thing that everybody's complaining about, because we were told on Reddit a long time ago, by purchasing the EOD on the website as well, that we were supposed to get extended DLCs for the game for free as long as we had EOD. And most of the people that are mad about this are EOD owners, but I can see new players to the game being mad about this as well. And here's the reason why. If you're a new player to the game and you don't care about this, all this extra stuff, the in-game ID, the PMC pockets, you don't give a shit about that. You just want to play Tarkov, but you also want the PvE co-op, you can't purchase it separately. Now, if they just added this and had it as like 40 bucks or 30 bucks or whatever the fuck, something around that price range, and they allowed you to actually purchase it separately, I think they would have got a lot of less backlash on this edition, aside from the actual price of it. Now, as of EOD owners being mad about this, we have full right to be mad about this. I don't care what anybody says. We were told that any DLC added to the game was going to be for free because we purchased the EOD edition of the game, the most expensive limited edition part of the game, and we basically got a season's pass. So any future DLC we were going to get, any expansions we were going to get. Instead, we got Arena for free, which is a separate game, but we didn't get the PvE co-op, which makes absolutely no sense. So we were told we were supposed to get this type of stuff for free, but now they're rewording things so that we don't get it at all. So it is a little bit scammy feeling. I'm not saying BSG is a scamming company, but like, it doesn't feel right that they can just reword it, even though this is downloadable content to the game. This is extended downloadable content to the fucking game. We should be getting this for free. Now, for the EOD upgraded price, which is when you have the Edge of Darkness edition and you want to upgrade to the Unheard edition, it is $100 US, 95 euros, or around 130 something dollars Canadian, or whatever the hell shekels Canada has. $100 to upgrade to this edition, to get a knife and access to the test servers and a couple other things. And what sucks is this actual DLC looks cool. Now, if you're new to the game and you're just getting into it and you're looking at all the packages and everything, it's kind of weird to see a game that's in early access have a $250 US edition and have things that should be separate, just like the co-op mode and everything, included in this. They had it in the palm of their hands, man.
The power of the sun in the palm of my hand.
They could have had the perfect microtransaction system. They didn't need a battle pass. They didn't need this stupid unheard of edition. All they needed to do is add cosmetics. People would have loved cosmetics, and they could have went the whole realism route and had woodland camos and cool looking gloves and shirts and like maybe some face paints or some stuff or some cultist related stuff on your character. People would have bought that. People would have bought melee weapons exclusive to microtransactions and everything, and people, I guarantee you, would have paid 20 to 30 bucks per item. And they just had the Pestily video that talked about stuff that the community actually wanted, and we talked about communication. And you know what the communication leads to? Now, with everybody complaining about BSG adding this Unheard of edition, what does BSG do? Instead of actually communicating with the player base and explaining what's going on, what their thought process is, or if they're going to remedy any of this stuff, they double down on the PvE mode and say, nah, we're not changing it. Fuck you. Like, you can go fuck yourself. We don't care what you're saying, even though the entire community is united and complaining about this, which I've never seen before in the entirety of this game. And then they go to Arena Breakout, which just released their gameplay trailer the other day. They're a mobile kind of Tarkov clone. It has its differences and stuff. It's way more arcadey and stuff. And now we get BSG quote tweeting them saying, have a nice 20-minute adventure in the blatant plagiaristic game. In and out. Instead of addressing anything, instead of going and like trying to remedy this stuff with the community, they decide to attack the other game and their Twitter and their company for using, like, all you're doing at this point is just doubling down on their advertisement as well. Because now they're using the fact that people are leaving Tarkov and complaining about the microtransaction stuff, and then they quote tweet it complaining about it, and now people are signing up for the Arena Breakout beta because they're sick of Tarkov. At this point, it might as well be called the Unheard of edition because they don't fucking listen to us at all. There has been so many times that they come so close to doing exactly what they need to do to make this game successful, and they just add a bunch of shit that no one asked for, no one needed, and no one wanted. And it sucks because the patch notes, aside from this stuff, was actually good, where they reduced aim punch and inertia and stuff. So they did things that we actually wanted. But then the number one mistake that they did, in my opinion, is adding that stupid little fucking radio in the corner there. I don't know if you can see it, it's at the bottom left. And basically what that little radio does is, according to BSG in the patch notes, is you can call in backup from your friends during a raid so that they can join your raid. And there are so many problems with this that I can't even imagine, first of all, the cheaters using this thing to wipe lobbies and call in their friends to pick up the loot, or to wipe bosses and farm them, etc. But this is ridiculous. Imagine you're playing against a player who has this edition, you're on a standard account, you shoot him up, and he calls for his buddies, and it's basically in-game stream sniping without the stream. Close enough, it might as well be. You get shot at, there's a guy at fucking goddamn Postman Pat, and you call in your 6 buddies to come in and kill him. I don't know exactly how it's gonna work. For example, there might be a limit to the amount of people that can join. There might have to be a certain raid time or whatever. I haven't seen that. I'm not buying this edition. I don't give a shit. I will not purchase something like this. I've defended BSG for so many things, but this is ridiculous with the amount of pay-to-win shit that's in this. And you can say as much as you want that it's not pay-to-win, but if you are able to tell people that you are being attacked in a raid and get them to join in mid-raid, that's ridiculous. Now, the other thing that this radio does is if you pair it with max fence karma, you will not be shot by scavs from over 60 meters away, which means sniper scavs, AI, whatever, they will not shoot you from over 60 meters away, but they will shoot the people who didn't buy this edition. And depending on how much Tarkov you've played, the amount of times that scavs fuck you over in the middle of firefights, if you are going to say this is not pay to win, the amount of times that scavs push you, the amount of times that scavs give away your position from shooting you from forever amount away with their gun between bushes, between trees, between buildings, this is pay to win. It is an addition to the game that you are buying, and it is giving you an advantage in game. Whether you see it every raid or whether you see it every 1 in 50 raids, it is still pay to win. You are paying to get an advantage on other people. And that's the thing that people are failing to realize. Whether you choose to ignore it or whether you choose to just pretend to not notice it or whatever, it's there. there is a reason that you are dying sometimes, and it could be because of this. And I defend BSG for a lot of stuff that they've done. I actually like a lot of the patchwork that they've done. I realize that they put a lot of work in the game, but to say that something like this isn't pay to win, and to rip away certain features that we are supposed to get and certain additions to the game that we are supposed to get because you decide to word it differently is ridiculous, and it does start sounding like a scam at this point. But at this point, I think that this is not going to be some little community outrage thing where everybody freaks out and then everybody just goes back to playing. I honestly think this is going to affect the player base. It will affect the game, and depending on the route that they choose to go, whether they try to fix this or if they make it worse and just don't give a fuck, they're going to lose players to other games, including games like Gray Zone and including games like Arena Breakout. All we wanted was microtransactions for clothing, for weapons, for camos, and stuff like that that would have fit in the game and been realistic. And unfortunately, the only thing doing this right by Tarkov is single-player Tarkov right now. They have the cosmetics, they have the fun little features and stuff that this game should have added years ago. They have a bunch of mods and stuff like that. And even though I'm not trying to advertise single-player Tarkov, it's honestly looking like something more fun to play than whatever this shit is. And the best part is, instead of paying $250 for a PvE mode, you can play single-player Tarkov for free. So that's my rant on this. I normally don't do rants and stuff like that for videos, but honestly, it sucks to see my favorite game do shit like this. And I appreciate you watching the video. Leave a like and comment below what you think about this new edition of the game and anything that I may have missed or your opinions on it. Obviously, not everybody's going to agree. This is what I think about it, and yeah, it just kind of sucks. So thanks for watching.